Hello, my name's Jane Oakland. For 35 years, I worked as an opera singer in Europe and in the UK. And it was while I was working, I developed an interest in how psychology could help musicians reach their full potential. So after rather too many years of study, I now work as a performance psychologist. Performance psychology is an emerging discipline which addresses the way in which performers think, feel, behave, so as to obtain optimal results in their specific domain. And I work in a similar manner to an applied sports psychologist, helping musicians unlock their full potential, not only as performers, but as musicians and people in their own right. Because managing well-being in general terms is essential to managing well-being as a musician. The interventions I use are based on sports psychology research, music psychology research, and my own experiences as a professional musician. Now, whether you're performing to an audience of 3 or 3,000, or even a video camera in these times, musicians are faced with many challenges when they move from the practice room into the performance arena. Think, for example, of performing anxiety, a common complaint of nearly all musicians. It's been shown that it's not the anxiety per se that is problematic, but how the physical and psychological symptoms of anxiety are perceived, and whether the individual feels that they are in control of these symptoms. Now, suppose that instead of talking about anxiety, you talk about arousal levels. You know, those good feelings when you've just done some physical exercise, or you're really excited about a certain event. Or can you remember the first time that you actually fell in love? The physical symptoms are exactly the same, but when we interpret them as anxiety, they become less than helpful. Another example. Instead of relating the word performance to being judged and feeling vulnerable, we could replace the word performance with communication. Because after all, the job of a performer is to communicate to an audience through music. And that way, it can help us think more about what we're playing rather than how we are playing it. Now, there are lots of other ways that I use to help musicians develop into confident performers. Things like practice techniques, learning how to organise and structure practice time efficiently so as to minimise physical strain. Exam and audition preparation, of course. Pre-performance routines. I always tailor my interventions according to individual needs. And finally, performance is not just music related. There are many areas in life where we need to perform. And even if you don't envisage yourself making a living from performing music, the mental skills that you can learn can help you in many other areas of life. If you teach, it can be invaluable to have some psychological knowledge to pass on to your students. The act of teaching itself is a performance, as are job interviews and any public speaking. Now, I shall be available throughout the year, either face-to-face or on Skype or Zoom, for one-to-one sessions or group sessions if the current situation allows. And I hope to see some of you then.